Next are the methods of teaching English at elementary level. How many people use English language in Pakistan? 16 million people. Grammar translation method is also called old method. The method of teaching foreign languages without using the pupil's first language is direct method. Role play is also called simulation. A grammar which states rule of what is considered the best and most correct usage is descriptive language. Descriptive grammar. In direct method, translation is not used. A test which is designed to provide a measure of performance that is interpretable in terms of individuals' relative standing in some known group is called a norm referenced test. What does bilingualism mean? Knowing two languages. Alphabetic method is also called spelling method. A grammar which describes how a language is actually spoken and written is called descriptive method. Grammar. Phonetic method is a method of teaching children to read. Grammar translation method is based on a classical approach. What is meant by reading in chunks, short pieces? Words which refer to a thing, quality, state, or action and which have meaning when the words are used alone are called content words. A test which measures a student's performance according to a particular standard which has been agreed upon is called criterion reference test. Receptive skills are listening and reading. Between you and I, he is a hindrance. This sentence is correct. Perspective grammar. Receptive skills are also called passive skills. Alphabetic method was invented by the Americans. Content words are also called lexical words. What do you mean when we say anticipation in reading? Guessing. In phonetic method, the children are taught to recognize a relationship between letters and sounds. What does objective refer to facts? Function words are also called form words. Macro teaching is teaching one or more skills at the same time. The test in which words are removed from a reading passage at regular intervals, leaving blank, is called a closed test. What is meant by recapitulation? Summing up. Skimming in language learning is taking off cream from milk. Productive skills are speaking and writing. What do you mean by review? Critical evaluation. Teaching technique employed for teacher training is micro teaching. Why do we skim a paragraph or lesson to guess? Deductive method is a method of teaching grammar. What do the close and deep reading of a text called intensive? The ability to use two languages freely and fluently with a native speaker like a proficiency is known as bilingualism. The main purpose of learning a language is communication. Name the key in the process of habit formation practice. The deductive method of teaching grammar, we proceed from एग्जाम्पल्स टू रूल्स. डिडक्टिव में एग्जाम्पल से कवानीन की तरफ आया जाता है. पहले एग्जाम्पल फिर कवानीन. द ओल्डेस्ट मेथड ऑफ टीचिंग अ लैंग्वेज इज ग्रामर ट्रांसलेशन यानी GTM, ग्रामर ट्रांसलेशन मेथड. द टाइम पीरियड इन माइक्रो टीचिंग इज 5 to 10 minutes. Point out one receptive skill out of the following: listening or reading. ये receptive skills. Expressive skill is writing. What method aims to teach directly without the help of mother tongue? Direct method. The spelling method is also called as alphabetic method. A test of writing is dictation. Close means missing part. Conveying the message through the words of mouth is speaking. A conversation between two persons is dialogue. The other form of dialogue is role play. The advanced stage of speaking is discussion. The last stage of writing is advanced writing. Practical analysis of a language is grammar. It is said that language is always changing. Name the approach which tells that language is best learned with reference to situation, situational. Who says that prose is the natural language of man? No Webster ने कहा. Within fourfold aims of teaching English, the basic aim listening. What are the passive skills of teaching English are listening and reading. The most fundamental characteristics of human English language is human speech sound. The position of English in Pakistan is privileged. Theories put forward in the study of first language acquisition are three. Theory expounded by Skinner was behavioristic theory, which theory of language is more appealing and rationalistic innate. In regard of the learning of a language, kinds of approach are five. Method of teaching English used in our government school is GTM, grammar translation method. Which type of sentence this is? Turn to the left and proceed. An instruction. If the user of a language has only the knowledge of language rules and form, then what he is said to have linguistic competence. The integral part of communicative approach is speech. The direct method was first called as reform method. The other name of audiolingual method is oral approach. Lingual means speaking. Audiolingual method was introduced in 1930 to 1960. The language acquisition approach is also called as a natural way of expression. Methods of teaching reading are four. Alphabetic method is also called a spelling method. Spellbind method या spelling method भी कह सकते हैं. Procedure of alphabetic method is letter, words, phrases and sentence. यानी पहले letter, फिर word, उसके बाद phrases का जाती हैं और फिर sentence आता है. The procedure of syllabic method is syllables are combined to form words and sentences. The procedure of sentence method is sentence, phrases, words and letters. The unit of phonic method is sounds of letters. Phonic method is scientific. Percentage of listening devoted in communicative activity is 45. यानी listening से हम 45% communicate कर सकते हैं. The stressed and unstressed label arranged in word is stress pattern. The productive skills is speaking and writing. In the stages of speaking lesson, the presentation stage is called controlled practice stage. In the production stage, the role of teacher is passive. The much free activity in speaking skill is pair work technique. The position of reader is decoder. Skimming means to get the overall meaning of text. Faster than skimming is scanning. In reading skill, the information transfer exercise means read and do exercise. Activity of writing is muscular. Grammar is the practical analysis of writing. Types of grammar are two. Prescriptive grammar is rules oriented. Descriptive grammar is trend oriented. Prescriptive grammar distinguish correct and incorrect. Among method of teaching grammar, methods most important are deductive and inductive. What is the basic concept of inductive approach? Rules should come first and examples later. Prose is derived from Latin. Language used in poetry is figurative language. Simile means like. Developed simile is also known as Homeric simile. Metaphor is derived from Greek, which is very important in lesson planning objectives. Steps in a lesson plan for Sir Frederick Herbert are five. In 4Ps format, there are four steps: one preparation, two presentation, three practice, and what is fourth? Production. Micro teaching through technique is also called classical micro teaching. The time period in micro teaching is 5 to 10 minutes. Phases into micro teaching are 5. Concept of team teaching emerged in 1954. Concept of peer teaching was introduced by Devi Allen. In peer teaching, who teach the class students. In teaching, role play is considered as a simulation. The main objective of role play is develop speaking skill and make direct relation in real life. Both ये दोनों. In multi-grade teaching, how many teachers participate? One. The role of teacher in multi-grade teaching is a facilitator. In theory, basic questioning strategy two are convergent, divergent, and what is third? Evaluative. Convergent, divergent, and evaluative. The formula for asking question is A plus B plus C. Yes and no questions are also called as polar. To ask the confirmation of some information, we ask tag question. जैसे it is है तो is not it, ये tag हो गया. What is meant by realia? Real things. Semantic pictures mean to teach words and meanings. The advantage of audio visual aids is to create interest. English language is associated with all of the above: economic modernization, industrial development, technological progress. English language has foreign vocabulary 80%. English is taught in Pakistan from class 1 to graduate. English was introduced in subcontinent as official language in 1832. Ability to communicate in two languages is bilingualism. How many languages in Pakistan are expected to know at least four? An abstract word is good. Ability in our schools ignored is speaking. Learning a language is an art. The key in the process of habit formation practice. Suitable for large classes is grammar translation method. Direct method strongly emphasizes on oral work. Audiolingual means listening and speaking. Eclectic approach means drawing from various. The procedure of this sentence method is sentence पहले sentence पढ़ा जाता है फिर phrase फिर word और फिर letter. Unisymphonic method are sound of letters by which oral communication is not possible. Listening. We engage our minds actively while listening. The basis on the which the three remaining skills are developed: listening. The knowledge of a native speaker of a language is implicit. Ancient times, what was thought about reading and studying a mysterious thing. While reading, our eye movement from one word to another is a series of jerks. We try to find a specific information in scanning. Reading newspaper is skimming. Novel reading is extensive reading. The best way of reading a text is to read text in chunks. What shall we do if we find an unfamiliar word? We may guess its meaning. To cast a bird eye view over a text before reading is previewing. Practiced at primary level is loud reading. Mechanical as well as mental skill is writing. What helps a learner to learn a lot? Mother tongue. What is concerned with the classroom atmosphere? Ambience. The third skill of teaching English is reading. How much and when is taught is determined approach. Classical method of teaching a foreign language is GTM. The conversation between two people is dialogue. Rule-oriented grammar is known as perspective. Non-visual information in reading is concerned with the prior knowledge of reader. The ability to recognize the alphabets is reading. The knowledge of the rules of grammar comes first and practice later. Inductive method. Percentage of Pakistan population that lives in remote यानी दूर रहती है 75%. Which is the third skill of language learning is reading. With speaking, what other quality of learner is greatly improved? Listening. Who expounded the behavioristic theory of learning? J.B. Watson. Useful in improving listening and speaking capabilities is interviews. Conversation between two persons is dialogue. Skill concerned with the muscular practice of learner is writing. Science of language is grammar. What mainly refers to the use of rhyme form. When we give human quality to object, it is personification. Jyoti in her own is an excellent teacher of English. Is excellent जो है इसमें adjective है. Point out the auxiliary verb from the sentence. I shall go to college for qualifying test today. इसमें shall जो है वो auxiliary verb है. Definite article is the. What is meant by fish out of water? Uneasy. What is meant by apple of ice? Favorite. What is meant by at 6 and 7 not in order? Which one is not a part of speech? Article. Article को part of speech नहीं कहा जाता. There are two properties of a language. The language learning theory given by Skinner is called parent conditioning. Stimulus response reinforcement and repetition is also called mentalism. Demonstration with explanation is made in method audiolingual. There are total 44 traditional sounds in English. Next is the reading to get the theme of the text means scanning. Choose the odd one. इसमें पैराग्राफ ऑड है, राइम स्टैंजा octave जो है ये एक जैसे है. For teaching of grammar, we normally use a translation method. Poetry, novel, and drama are the forms of expression. Man can best be understood by his outer self, behaviorism. Which one is not a method of teaching? Audio bilingual. Conventional theory or term indicates reading, recalling, review. Reading, recalling, review. Reading a text quickly to book for a specific piece of information is scanning, in which method the children are first taught alphabets in analytical. The reading comprehension in language can be promoted by reciting in the classroom. The principle of teaching English of grammar translation method is interpreted through translation into mother tongue. Advantage of direct method of teaching a foreign language is improved pronunciation, fluency in speech, natural method ABC तीनों. The strong point of the bilingual method of teaching a language is target language is used most of the time. Which type of practice is the most important in teaching of English? Listening. Which technique of teaching was developed by Kichi-san, doctoral candidate at Stanford University? Micro teaching. English communication skills are neglected in a grammar translation method. Learning is parrot-like in direct method. The natural language of a man is phonetic. Teacher develops speaking skill in his students A, B, and C, यानी through skill drills, by participation, observation activities, by performance activities. Conveying of a message through the words of mouth is speaking. Deductive method is scientific method. In ALM, audiolingual method, there are repeated drills. Phonology deals with sound system. In ALM, there is emphasis on mimicry. Post-reading activities follow up. Old style of paragraph writing is orthography. Substitution means replacement. Redundancy means to ignore. In GD